Hey there, thanks for joining me for Friday Focus. Today we're going to be talking about the Ultimate Homeschool Planner that was designed by Debra Bell. It's published by Apologia Press. There are different places you can get it. You can check the description box and I'll be glad to put the links in there. Basically, this Friday Focus we're focusing on the Ultimate Homeschool Planner by Debra Bell, and what I really like about the planner is that it keeps everything all in one place. The last time I tried to record this, I looked back at my video and it was terribly... There was a tremendous glare coming in my window, and so this time I'm just going to let you have a view right into the book. This is the cover, and on the cover of each book I write our school name, and if you're a homeschooler, yes, you can name your school. It's a ton of fun and you can get your kids' input, and it's just funny to hear what they have to say. Then I write the date of the school year. Of course, ours is 2013-2014 because that's our current year. Last year the color of the book was different. It was yellow, more yellow and purple. It had a little bit of green, and I think the spiral binding on that one was purple, but it could have been yellow. I really don't remember. So last year was my first bout with this book. It was the first year that I'd used it. Before that, I was really just printing out pages on my own, trying to design something that worked for me, and I was just coming up empty. So when I came across the Ultimate Homeschool Planner, it made me a happy mommy. Inside the front cover is a little pocket, and inside this pocket you can keep papers. I keep stickers, and I'll show you what I do with those later. I keep memory cards for my students, and I'll show you what I do with those in just a minute. Also on the inside back cover is a pocket as well. And I don't think you can, maybe I need to zoom out. Okay, so there's a pocket here on the back cover and a pocket on the front cover. So I like that because it gives me places to put my things. Next is a calendar that goes from 2012 all the way to 2016. This page is covered because it has all my personal information on it, but basically it's just a place where you can write your name and address, phone number, your contact email, your students' names, and what grades they're in. So there's a little grid at the bottom, which I'm, like I said, not going to show you. Then it has the publishing information. This page has a little, tells about their three-part system, the homeschool planner for moms, and then it has a weekly planner for teens, which I don't need yet, thankfully. Then there is the planner for students. This Ultimate Planner for Students is for grades 4 through 8. I wanted to buy this when I was getting my supplies ready for this year, and I clicked on the wrong student planner. I thought I was getting the right thing, but I ended up with the wrong thing. And I don't like the one that I got because it's about half this size. I mean, seriously, it's like this wide and this long, and it's just so small that if it gets buried under a book or another piece of paper, my students kind of just go, oh, I don't know where it went, I can't find it, oh, what am I going to do? And they just kind of freak out about it, and it puts me behind in getting their student planners updated so they can know what they're responsible to do that week. There's a welcome note from Deborah and Zan, Debra Bell and Zan Tyler, table of contents, and then how to use it. Basically, they want you to go on a yearly retreat and then do monthly planning sessions and weekly planning sessions and meet with your student every Monday. I don't do any of that stuff except for the weekly planning, because I found that if I try to plan for more than 1 week, or even I can maybe squeeze out 2 weeks once in a while. If I plan for 2 weeks or more in advance, usually because our schedule is like it is, it just doesn't work out, and then I have to do a whole lot of erasing. So here's a quick tip. Never ever ever write in your homeschool planner with anything but pencil. Please. And a white eraser is your best friend. Next is a key for any abbreviations that you make. And so that you would write it down in here, like E might be English. Mine's blank because I did these last year and I kept the same abbreviations. SP could be Spanish. It could be spelling. If you forget which one you designated it for, you can always go back to your key. That's why it's there. Next, it talks about the yearly planning retreat, monthly planning session, weekly planning breaks. And like I said, I only plan for the week because if I plan more than that, it just doesn't happen. It shows you a little bit about how you can set it up. For example, right here, they show on this page that you put each student, and then you write across what they're responsible for. Like as far as the subjects would be at the top, and then what each student's supposed to be doing. And this shows the week of. On the next page is a different way to set it up. You could do your days down here and then your students down this way. And that would work great if you had a lot of students. I only have 3, so I don't have to do it. I'll show you how I do it in just a minute. Monday morning tutorials, that's when they talk about getting together with your kids and just kind of going over what they're supposed to be doing that week. And then on Friday, you would get together again with them to go over what they have gotten accomplished. I don't do those things. I kind of just check up on them when I know they're needing to be checked up on. And I fill out their student planner and then I give it to them for that week and just tell them, hey, this is what you got to do. And it works. The next is a one-year planning grid, which I don't use. It bogs me down. I tried to use it last year. I'm just not geared this way. There are so many calendars in this book, I can't possibly use them all. Student, there's room for 6 students, and their character goals and academic goals. So if you have a kindergartner and you want them to master phonics, then you would just put phonics mastery under academic goals. And then if you're working on sharing or compassion, you would write that under the character goals for each student. And then family priorities page, resource lists, which are great if you have a learning challenged student, so that you could write all the resources that you need and when you'll need to use them. There are 6 spaces because of course they expect that you'll have 6 students or up to 6 students. Then is the monthly planner, and this is just a calendar. It has a quotation at the top of each page and then a scripture verse at the bottom. You can write in your own month, so if you don't start in June like we do, you would write whatever month you're starting and then just fill in the dates. And the first thing that I do after I fill out like 2 or 3 months, I usually don't do the whole year because that's just a lot of writing, that's a lot of keeping up, and so I do like 2 or 3 months at a time, and then I fill in everybody's birthday. Then we can remember to celebrate during the year everybody's birthday, and that way nobody gets left out. So for us, because we do school year round and I love it, I didn't love it last year, but I love it this year. Just a note on year-round schooling. We do year-round schooling and we love it, and the reason is it affords us the time to celebrate birthdays that don't just fall in the summer, that don't fall over Christmas break or whatever. We can celebrate everyone's birthday and take that day off and just kind of focus on them and just have fun as a family. And we can also be off if my husband happens to be off of work, or we have extra work to do, like after the ice storm we had a lot of limbs down and things that need to be cleaned up around the farm, and so it made it easier to just take that time that we needed to get those extra things done. Okay, the next part is really just the meat of the planner, and this is the part that I love. I don't love everything about this planner, and I'll explain that later, but what I do love is the weekly planner. I love it, love it, love it. This next part of the planner is the part that I love. It's the actual weekly planner. They have a page for the Lord's Day at the beginning of each week, and so I'll just write, like for example, this was the week of October 6 through 12, 2013. At the top it has a quotation, then it has a place to put your Bible plan, and then you write your fighter verse, prayers, this could be prayer requests. I just a lot of times just jot down a quick prayer, whatever's on my heart that day, and then hospitality and outreach, like if you were gonna take a meal to a family member or to somebody who's lost a loved one. If somebody at your church might be sick and you need to go visit them, you just put that there. Then it has a place for memorable moments across the way. Let me zoom out so you can see. This is the memorable moments. So if, for example, if you're having a really bad day and you feel like everybody's just taking you for granted and you're like this big yo-yo in your home and it's just really getting you down, you can look back at your memorable moments. You might have written down that a child gave you a hug unexpectedly, or drew you a special picture, or just told you they loved you, or maybe your spouse let you sleep in extra long on Saturday because you'd had a rough week or you were just really tired. You could write those things down, and that always is a pick-me-up when you're having a bad day, to go back and read those little sweet moments that have happened over the year. This is blank because evidently I didn't have any memorable moments that week, or just didn't write them down. There's a little box over here for achievements right here, and that's for, like, for example, if your child gets an A+ on a quiz and they've never done that before, you want to remember that, so you can just jot it down there. There's a place here for evidences of grace. This is ways God's shown you His grace and mercy, how He's been faithful, how He's protected you, how He's provided for you. You can just jot those little things down here. The next part, I just turn over the page. It's the week of, and then you would put the same dates here, or however you want to do it. You might only put Sunday's date, or you might put the whole week. I put the whole week because I have so many things going on that if I don't, I won't remember what Sunday's date was, or you know how it is. So then I write the day and then the date. So Monday, October 7, Tuesday, October the 8th. And then I put the instructional day. So if we skip a day, like here, Tuesday, October 8th was instructional day number 65. And then we skipped Wednesday because we had to do errands and house cleaning. And then the next day, Thursday, October the 10th, would have been instructional day 66. Now I'll show you what my stickers are for. So in the front pocket I keep my sheet of stickers, and at the end of every day that we complete for school, I'll put either, these were stampers, I'll either stamp that or put a sticker here, and I love that, love it. And that way, if I get off on my instructional days somehow, or I want to make sure that I have really done that many instructional days, all I have to do is go back and count my stickers or my stamps. I try to keep up with it so that when I do my accountability to my association for the state requirements and all of that, then I'll know what my instructional days and how many days I've gotten completed up to that point, and that really helps me not to have to go back and count every time. And I learned that the hard way too. The next part I want to show you is this little slash mark right here. You'll notice under Bible and math and English and reading and handwriting and science, everything except electives, because we do electives all together, but I teach 2 grades, and so because I teach 2 grades, I have to keep this separate because they're not always on the same lesson number. And so, like for example, my kids do some of the video school, and so then they'll have a certain lesson number for that day. Or if there's no video, I just write no video, unit test, or whatever is going on. So for example, my grade 4 student might be doing lesson 57, while my other grade student might be doing lesson number 56. And so I always keep the same grade number. Usually the higher grade number is on the left hand side of every slash mark for every subject, not this one, but for every subject. And then the lower grade student is on the right. And you have to do this however you feel like. When you have so many students, this would be a hard way to do it, but because I only have 2 grades that I teach, this works really well for me. And it keeps it all on the same page where I can see. Okay, Now you'll notice that some of these are sharing a space, and that's okay, but that's how I had to do it because we had 10 subjects first semester and 9 subjects the second semester. And another thing that I want to say to you is that if you're trying to cram in a lot like I do, you try to cram in a lot of extracurricular and elective type programs, one thing that you can do is only designate 1 day a week for 1 semester for that particular subject. So for example, we did Spanish, PE, and home ec first semester. I took 1 day a week for Spanish, 1 day a week for PE, and 1 day a week for home ec. And then usually it was a designated day, but then if we missed it, it was easy to catch up on Saturday or on a day that we took off, because I only allot 15 to 20 minutes per elective subject, and that keeps it where it's not taking control of our whole day. And then if we're behind in math, or we had trouble with our English paper or anything like that, we can just push those till later. There's a place for notes on the side over here. I guess you can see that. There's a place for notes here, supplies, and any appointments. You'll want to jot down any appointment that you have for that week right here. That way you don't have to flip back to your monthly calendar. It'll be right here in front of you and you can't forget about it. There's a quotation on the bottom. This next page is not a favorite part of this planner, and I will tell you straight off, this is the part that I do not like. This is the part that's supposed to house your records and grades. But I'm here to tell you there's just simply not room. If you have, let's say you have 13 chapters of math, that means you're going to have 13 tests in math, all by itself. And then if you have 20 quizzes on top of that, plus you have to grade their cumulative review pages or anything like that that's extra, there's just not room to house it all right here. I think that they set this up for averages, but that means you have to have a separate place to keep all that stuff. And so this is the part I really don't like about the planner. I really, really wish it was different. So right now, I'm working on coming up with my own place to keep all of my records, because I have not found anything that will house them all, although I would love to. But the next thing is reading lists. There's a place for 6 students and any books that they've read during the year, field trips or outside activities, and they have a place per student, so they have 6 places in all. I don't keep this either, because we usually field trip together. We don't leave anybody behind. Everybody's included when we go on a field trip, and so I just write that into my regular weekly lesson plans to let me know when we went on a particular trip. So when I do my accountability to my association, I can write in we had a field trip that day and what particular day it was. Next, it just gives a checklist for raising independent learners, motivating your reluctant learners, learning styles and thinking skills, how to identify your child's learning styles. The next page just gives some tips and tricks and has a link down at the bottom where to get the full article. The next pages are a high school planning guide. There's a guide on one page, and then this one here is just an example of how you might want to fill it in. Then it has 2 pages for your year-end review, whether or not you met your goals that year. The next page is a place for notes. It's a whole page that you can write your notes on. Next is the bibliography. And then it tells about Debra Bell. And it shows some pictures of the books that she has written. Thanks for joining me today for Friday Focus. I hope that you found this review helpful. Don't forget to tune in next week for the next Friday Focus and find out what. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for tuning in to Friday Focus. I hope that you found this review helpful. Don't forget to tune in next week for the review that we'll be doing on something else related to homeschooling. I hope you have a real good day, And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.